Hi, welcome back to Reading with Manny. I'm Manny and it's been a while, but I'm here with my wrap up for Q1 of 2026. So, I've been kind of out of the video making thing lately. I went on holiday the last half of January to the beginning of February, which is also when I started back work. I'm a teacher, by the way, for anyone who's new. And yeah, classes started end of February, beginning of March. It has kicked my butt. It has been rougher than in previous years. It's always difficult to, I don't know, getting used to new groups and new dynamics. But this year in particular has been a bit much for me for some reason. I have a couple of complicated groups, I should say. And yeah, I have a fear that I'm getting a bit burnt out already, which is not good. So I'm currently filming a vlog for this week. Today is the 2nd of April. Oh, I need to send a message. There's someone's birthday today. Just remembered, I have to remember that. So yeah, today's the 2nd of April. It's Easter week here, which in Uruguay we call Turismo week, Semana Turismo. Tourism week, I guess. And yeah, so I'm currently on holiday and I've been doing like a reset kind of week where I set myself some tasks to like try to get me to start the next part of the year a little bit more, I don't know, put together, I guess. And yeah, one of the things I wanted to do was to get back into vlogging. That's why I'm filming this week and, you know, getting back to doing videos. So I'm here with a wrap up. It's not that many books. Well, it's quite a bunch of books, but yeah, let's get into some stats first. I have my reading journal where I can have all the data that I need, so I will be like looking down here. But yes, so I have read so far 15 books, and yeah, I think we should just get into it, right? So in January I read 4 books. I started the year with The Witching Hour by a bunch of different authors. You can see some of them on the cover there. This is a short story anthology. This is the 3rd volume in the kind of series that these authors are doing. And yes, these are all kind of like spirit, ghostly kind of stories based around like The Witching Hour. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4.5 because there were a couple of the stories, a couple of them where I just wasn't, everything was doing great until the ending, and the ending was like, why did you end it that way? Which sometimes happens with short stories, and I can understand why the author would want to do it, but doesn't really hit for me. So yeah, 4.5. I think it's the first one that I've actually given 4.5. I think with the other ones I was maybe a bit more generous. I gave the other 2 installments of this 5 stars. But yeah, it had some really great stories though. One by Natasha Puli, who is like my favorite author, which was great, and I really enjoyed, like I said, most of these. If not, I would have given it fewer stars. But yes, it was great. It was a great way to start the year, so yes. Then I read A Month in the Country by J.L. Carr. Follow this man who came back from World War One, and he is an art historian kind of thing, and he is hired to repair, or to discover rather, a mural in this church in a little town somewhere in England. And so he spends a month there rediscovering this mural and like making friendships with the people around. And yeah, there's not much plot. It's just him also recovering from, you know, what we call now PTSD, but back then was called shell shock. I thought this was great. It was quiet. It was a nice meditation on like easy country living. It was great. Just loved it. Then I read Snake Eater by T. Kingfisher. I think I devoured this book in like a couple of days. It was great, like every T. Kingfisher book I have ever read. She is definitely one of my favorite authors. And in this one, we are following Selena, who is kind of like down on her luck, I guess. She wants to break up with her boyfriend, or she's trying to break up with her boyfriend, and she has some sort of like anxiety, and she has trouble reading people sometimes. I think she has a like very exacerbated social anxiety. I can't remember if it's like really explained with like a diagnostic or whatever, but yes, she has this like thing. And so she's trying to escape from her life basically, and she decides that she's going to go see if her aunt can put her up for a couple of whatever. And when she gets there, turns out that the aunt has died, but the people in the town tell her that she can move right into her house because like they always need people and whatever. And so she decides to at least go check out the house. It turns out that there's these like desert gods and different types of gods around there, and well, things get weird like in any Taking Fisher book. And yeah, there's always the element of like found family with Taking Fisher, which I really enjoy. All the characters have their own quirks and things, and everyone is great. And yes, there's weird horror in this one, a lot of humor, and I enjoyed it a lot. It has one great line near the end that made me actually cackle, which was, I can't spoil it for you, but it's great. So if you don't know what a snake eater is, you should know that it's a roadrunner. That's what I'm going to tell you. It's great. Very enjoyable. The next book I read was Inside Man by John McMahon. This is the second one in the series. I think at the beginning was called Par Unit, and now it has changed to Head Cases, the title of the series, I mean. Anyway, in this one, we are following a bunch of characters that is like as if you were reading Criminal Minds, basically the TV show, but in book form. It's kind of like that. So the first book follows these characters, you get to know them, and their first case, well, not the first case, but like a case, first case in this series. And in this one, it's kind of like the same thing. We have a couple of cases actually, and it was good, but I liked it less than the first book. I gave this one 3.5 stars. I think there were too many things going on, and I don't know, I think with some editing it could have worked a bit better. I'm not sure. It was still fun, but yes, it wasn't my favorite. I guess I will probably continue the series because they are quick, fun reads, and I miss watching Criminal Minds. I should watch the new version that they put out, but I don't know, we'll see. Then I read The Wolf and His King by Finn Longman. I don't even remember how this got on my radar. Like, I honestly cannot remember how this happened, but I read this book. It's a myth retelling of a myth that I had no idea existed. It's from the Middle Ages. It's, let me see if I can say this correctly. The myth of Bisclavret. I'm probably not saying that correctly. I should probably find that out. But it's like this French from the Middle Ages kind of thing. I don't know how to explain it. Bisclavret is a werewolf. It's a myth of a werewolf, basically. But I really like the structure of this book. It's told in different chapters from like 3 POVs, I would say. One of them is in second person, so it's like you did blah 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 whatever, which you don't read very often and sometimes can be a bit grating or like weird, but in this one it works so well. Like there's so many details about how this book was constructed that I don't know if I should tell you, because you know, I liked the surprise of going into it like that. There's even some kind of like poetry even, I don't know, it's great. And yeah, I don't know what else I can tell you. I really enjoyed it. It's like a queer vision of it, of the myth, involving, well, the wolf and his king. I really liked it, and I would highly recommend if you're looking for a weird kind of heartwarming book, I guess. All right, that was it for January. I was also reading in January, for a big chunk of it, I was reading Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb, and I was vlogging that, and then I went on holiday, and vlogging with my family around was not easy, so I put it on hold and I haven't picked it up again. So I was like a third of the book in, so I need to get back to it at some point, but I don't know when that's going to be. Because I was vlogging because I'm vlogging like at least the first trilogy of the Readalongs, but we'll see. I put it on hold. So that was a bunch of reading in January that I haven't logged anywhere, but it's fine. Then we get into February. The first book I read in February was A Disaster Gate Detective Agency by Lev A.C. Rosen. I got this as an ARC. I requested it because I thought the premise was very fun and quirky, I guess. I was in the mood for it's also a cozy mystery, so I was kind of in the mood for that. And I have read 2 books by this author before, but they're like a more serious historical fiction detective stories as well, following a gay detective in the 1950s. It's called, what's his name? Well, I'll put it somewhere. Enjoyed the writing, so I thought, okay, let's request this one. And I enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it, but again, there was too many things that I didn't really click for me. We are following these 4 characters who live in New York. They're all queer and diverse, and the representation is great. I love that. And we followed their 4 POVs, which for some people might be a bit too much. I thought it was fine until the end, where some things maybe got a bit repetitive. I don't know. We follow this character who is hotel receptionist, and one night he gets into a one-night stand with one of the guests, and he is obsessed with him, and then he disappears, and he finds his phone, and things go from there. Yes, and then all the other characters get involved in that as well. They all have their own things going on. But I thought that the relationship, like the dynamics of the group of friends, was not the best, and I don't think things were resolved in the end. So I don't know. It wasn't my favorite. It was still fun, but yes, it didn't click at the end for me, I guess. So yeah, 3.5 stars. Then I read A Closed and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers. This is the second one in the Wayfarer series by her, and this is the series for the first half of the year for bookStara Readalongs, hosted by Amy, Danielle, and Paige. And it's the first time that I'm actually taking part in one of the read-alongs, because the other series that they have chosen before weren't really something I was very interested in reading at the time. But I had read the first book in this series a couple of years ago, so I said, great, this is the best chance I'm gonna get to actually keep up with the series. And these are companion novels, which I think for some people doesn't really work, because they get really attached to the characters in the first book, and then yes, they need to get to know a whole host of new characters and whatever. The second book, I haven't actually written my review in the journal yet, and I haven't given it a rating because I just don't know how I feel about it. I read it over 10 days, which is weird because it's not such a long book, but I was reading a few chapters a night, and I wasn't getting the urge to pick it up, which makes sense because this series, at least this book, doesn't have much of a plot. It's just more about character development. We are following a character that appears in the first book, and we get her backstory, and then this other character that is an AI that we kind of get to meet in the first book as well, and then we kind of see how the AI, how she's getting used to things, let's say, because I don't want to spoil anything from the first book. And yeah, we get those 2 POVs, and it was fine, but something didn't click for me. Again, I don't know what it was. The writing was beautiful. There was just something that didn't really click for me, so it wasn't my favorite, but I'm torn between giving it, because I didn't hate it. So yeah, it was probably around a 3 star. If I'm feeling like this, it's probably a 3 star, which is probably what I'm probably going to end up giving it, so it's fine. And then the last book I read in February was Nutshell by Ian McEwan. Now, I don't know what I can tell you about this book. All I'm going to tell you is that it's a retelling of something, and it's a modern retelling of something, and it's also told from a very unique perspective. And I don't think I should tell you anything else. It's a very short book. I think it's around 100 something pages. It's a novella, I should say. And it's brilliant. I loved it. It's very weird. It's very out there. It's very, yeah. But if you want a short book that will catch your attention, you should go in blind. You should not know anything other than it's a very unusual narrator and it's a retelling of something. And you should figure out things from there. Did that sentence make sense? I don't know, whatever. It was great. And then we get into March, which has been the best reading month so far because I read 7 books. Last year and the year before, I had managed 1 or 2 books in March. So I don't know what happened there. One of the things that I'm doing this year is try to read every day. So that means that at least when I go to bed, I'm reading something. So that seems to be working. Anyway, first book I read in March was Nowhere Burning by Katrina Ward. I have read 2 books by her before. The most well-known one, of course, is The Last House on Needless Street, which like blew my mind. This one is kind of like a dark Peter Pan inspired book. We're following these kids who live up in the mountain forest somewhere. These are runaway kids who have taken this land that used to belong to this actor who did very bad things, and the house burned down at some point. And so they have established a little community there. They're living there, and we follow a couple of different perspectives. I don't know how much I can tell without spoiling things. We are following this film crew who is trying to film a documentary on these kids and what happened up there and what continues to happen, I guess. And we are following the perspective of one of the kids, who is a teenager by that point, but still, who gets to go there with her brother. She's escaping from some very bad situations, so they go up there. And we're also following the perspective in the past of a man who was involved with this actor. That's all I can tell you. So there's a mystery involved with like who are these people and how they're obviously connected in some way, and there's a bit of like supernatural kind of elements going on as well, which I can't tell you about. And I don't know, there was a few twists. Some of them you could kind of see coming, but they're still gasp inducing, like when you actually get to it and maybe you kind of had it in your mind but not fully, so like when it happens you're like, oh, yes, of course. It was great. So yes, 5 stars. Really enjoyed that one. Quite dark though, just so you know. Then I read the weirdest book in this list, which is called Destination Saturn by Lynn Carter and David Grinnell, I think. This is an old school sci-fi, which I only read for TBR Trek because I needed a book with a planet's name on the cover. And so I went looking for something I was interested in, and this came up, and I was like, I haven't read any old sci-fi in a while, so I thought I would give it a go. It was hilarious. It's a short book. It's very kind of satirical even. I don't know. We follow this guy in the future, of course, and he is great and he has a lot of money and he wants to be a king or emperor or whatever. So he buys this old spaceship and calls it a kingdom. It's an old spaceship from like a race of aliens that don't exist anymore. And so he gets kind of in the middle of a battle between the people from Saturn, who actually, they're aliens on Saturn, and the Earth galactic thing or government, whatever, because they have technology there that they both want, and he's kind of in the middle of that. There's this weird Martian alien as well, and the main guy, he has this girlfriend who they have a very weird relationship, like they are constantly at each other, but it was hilarious and a lot of fun. So yes, I gave it 4 stars. It was a bit of fun. Then I read After the Fall by Edward Ashton. This is the same author that wrote Mickey 7, which got adapted as a movie as Mickey 17 with Robert Pattinson, which I thought was great. I haven't read that book yet, but I thought I'd give this new book. I think it just came out in February. It's a dystopian future in which some aliens have come to Earth. I can't really describe them, but they call them the Greys, and they have taken over the world. Humanity had kind of like wiped itself out a little bit before, but it's not clear if it was the aliens who did that or if the humans did that and then the aliens came. There's a bit of ambiguity there, which I thought was great. And then they keep humans as not pets, not slaves, but something in the middle. So the humans are like kept in these creches, like nurseries, I guess, and then the Greys can come and take one of them as bonds people. And yeah, they have to basically serve them or serve as companions or whatever. We're following John, who has a pretty good situation with the Grey that he's with, who's called Martok, because he treats him really well, although he's kind of down on his luck. He goes from job to job. They never have a lot of stability. And then he gets into this weird scheme, and things go from there. We get John trying desperately to like help Martok succeed in this venture, because otherwise he will be taken by another Grey or whatever, and then his situation would not be as good. I don't know. It's funny. It's interesting. I don't know. It was a very different kind of book. I'm not very much into dystopia these days because, yeah, I don't like thinking about the state of the world a lot. But this was different in some way. I don't know. I guess it was treated very well with the humor, like a good balance between like the serious moments and the humor of it. And yeah, I think it did a good thing in that it didn't try to get opinions shoved down your throat about things. Like, I like books that let you like come up with your own ideas and like maybe challenge your thoughts a bit, but they don't try to like impose anything on you, even if it's things that I agree with, you know. But yeah, I liked it. I gave it 4.5 stars. Then I read the most unusual thing for me, at least. I read a contemporary romance, which I don't normally do. I read Starshipped by Cat Sebastian, and I love this book. I gave it 5 stars. It's a gay romance, and I loved it. We're following these 2 actors who are part of this like very famous sci-fi TV show that has been like running for like 7 seasons or whatever, and people are obsessed with it. It has a huge following, and both actors kind of hate each other in real life, even though they're supposed to be like really good friends on screen. And so we kind of had like this kind of like enemies to lovers kind of thing, but it was done really well, and both characters are dealing with certain things as well. When I like a contemporary romance, it's usually because there's something else going on apart from like the romance, which was great and very lovely. It didn't have like your typical third act breakup, which I usually hate if it's not done well. And yeah, we have one of the characters who is dealing with anxiety and OCD, I think, and the other one is dealing with like some family things. And yeah, I thought it was great, really well done. And there were these kind of in between moments where you could see like what the fans are doing, like what the fans of the show are talking about in like a server or whatever, and those fan bases references were great. They made me like, yay, because I've been there. And yeah, the main character kind of reminded me of Sherlock, like BBC Sherlock, not Benedict Cumberbatch, but like BBC Sherlock. And so yeah, it put me in mind of like the hundreds of Sherlock fanfics I have read. But it was great, and it made me even tear up a few times. So it was a great book. I gave it 5 stars. Highly, highly recommend. And I will be checking out Cat Sebastian's other work, I think. So I will be checking them out because, yeah, I really liked the writing style. Okay, we're getting to the last 3. Then I read Record of a Spaceborne Few by Becky Chambers. This is book 3 in the Wayfarer series, which was the book for March, in the bookStara Readalongs. And I think this was my favorite in the whole series. I can't now remember what I gave the first book, but I think it wasn't 5 stars, or if it was maybe 4.5. This was 5 stars. like, it was great. We are following this group of humans who live on a system of spaceships, which were the first ones to leave Earth when Earth was, of course we destroyed Earth, whatever. And they were finally like established in orbit around a planet or a sun, can't remember, a sun probably. And we are following them, and it was great. I loved all the characters and getting to see how different traditions and customs have evolved for humanity there, and how they deal with death. The death rituals in particular were very interesting to me. And yeah, I thought it was great. A part of it actually shocked me, which I wasn't expecting, because these are like very cozy sci-fi kind of thing. But yeah, it had some very serious things in there, and yeah, it made me tear up. And yeah, I love the anthropological kind of feel that we get from this book. There's also this alien who is coming like to study them, to live among them, to kind of see how they live and how they're different from other humans who have traveled around the space at this point. And yeah, I thought it was great. 5 stars. I am looking forward to reading the 4th book now, and the discussion, which I am hoping that this time I can actually catch the live show for this one. Okay, and then we have The Mysterious Case of the Alberton Angels, which I actually read physically. It's the second physical book I read this year. I read this in one day. In fact, one night. I made very bad choices and I didn't go to sleep until like 3:30 in the morning because I had to stay up to read this. It was great. I loved it. Gave it 4.5 stars because it wasn't perfect, but yes. It was very intriguing. It did what a mystery had to do, which is to like keep you guessing and making you not want to stop reading, which is what happened. This is a second Janice Hallett book I have read. She is known for writing books in like mixed media kind of thing. So we get emails and messages and transcriptions of interviews. Is that what you would call it? Transcriptions? And yes, like different parts of things. And I thought it was better done than The Appeal. Obviously, The Appeal was her first book, I think so. It's about a cult. The Alberton Angels are a cult, and we have this true crime author like trying to write a book about it, and she has this rival who is also trying to write a book about it. So they're trying to like work together, but also from different angles. And yes, they're going over the whole story, which happened in the past. And yeah, it was very intriguing, very good twists, very much fun. And then the last book I read was Full Form by Tiggy Fisher again. This is her latest release. And this falls more into the actual horror book type thing that Tiggy Fisher does really well. By which I mean she takes something from nature or like, yes, and makes you inordinately afraid of it. In this case, it was flies, bot flies in particular, the ones that sorry, trigger warning for disgusting, that like burrow into the flesh of their hosts and then put larvae in and then they hatch out. Yes, I'm getting like shivers just thinking about it. It's gross. I did not need Tiggy Fisher to make me afraid of those type of flies, but she went ahead and did it. And so we're following this woman who is a naturalist. This is set in 1899, I think. And so we're following her. Her father has died. She has been working as a teacher in a boarding school, but then she finds a job with this doctor naturalist who studies insects to go and illustrate his proposed new book. And so he goes to this house that is very isolated. It's in North Carolina. So the book has this kind of like Southern Gothic kind of feel, which I thought was really well done. And she describes a lot of things in terms of watercolor colors. And I thought that was really, well done as well. And yeah, there's something mysterious going on in that house because of course it is. I can't tell you anything more about it. But I love the characters. The plot was really well done. the writing incredible. And yes, I had a lot of moments of like making faces and like actually cringing, like physically cringing from what I was reading. I would recommend this if you're not very squeamish, if you don't mind body horror, and especially ones that involve insects, because yeah, it's not my thing, but I can still appreciate that it was really well done. And yeah, 5 stars. It was great. And I haven't had any nightmares yet. I finished it a couple of nights ago and I still haven't had any nightmares, so that's good, I guess. So yes, that is it. That took me a long time to do because I'm out of practice and it will take me ages to edit this. I know, because I am terrible at speaking to camera now. Anyway, that's it. That's quarter one. I am also currently reading 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. I'm also reading that physically, but it's in my bedroom. I'm not going to get up and get it right now. And I have been reading this for like since February. But I have been reading February? For probably. Yes, February. I have been reading this since February, but I'm taking it as a kind of like, okay, I haven't read anything today. I'm just going to read a chapter of this before I go to bed. And it has worked really well. It's also one of the books that my dad used to read to my sister and I for like bedtime. I don't remember anything about it. Like I started reading and I obviously did not remember anything about it, but yes, I have been meaning to reread. I have been meaning to read Jules Verne like as an adult for a while, so I thought I'd start with that one because it was the one I really remember my dad kind of reading to us, but can't remember anything about the story itself. And I'm really enjoying doing it that way, but I'm not even halfway through, I think, at this point. That's the other thing I'm reading. And that's it. Oh my god. Let me know if you have read any of these books so we can chat about them in the comments. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and subscribe to see whatever else I managed to do. Oh, I have this weekly vlog that I'm filming, so that should be up next. Bye, happy reading!